What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Extra Innings Podcast. I am your host, Elijah Rodriguez, and here we are, guys. It's Friday. We made it to Friday. It's been a hell of a week, let me tell you. It's been a hell of a week. But anyway, so yesterday we have more headlines. A couple of these things aren't necessarily it's all news related, but kind of far from the player, performance aspect of things. Obviously, we're going to talk about Skeens. Had his third start yesterday. One thing that really shocked me that's not even on my list that I was just, as I was getting my stuff ready and MLB Network was on, I saw that they actually moved Kyle Hendricks to the bullpen because he's been non-existent apparently. Used to be an opening day starter. That's rough, man. That's tough. I know he only throws 86 to 89. He'll run it up to 90 every so often. Righty with nasty movement. It's just kind of an end of an era, I guess, to see Kyle Hendricks not be a starter for the Cubs. That's unheard of, at least for the recent years. But anyway, so we're going to start today. So finally, exciting news for me as I'm in San Antonio, right? They announced the World Baseball Classic for 2026, the sites. So there are two on sites, obviously Miami, normal. I mean, that they normally play in Miami. But Houston, Minute Maid will be a site for the 2026 World Baseball Classic, which is exciting. That's only like a 2.5 hour, 3 hour drive for me. So you bet your ass I'm going to some World Baseball Classic games in 2026. Yeah, that's pretty exciting. I don't know. I mean, Miami, I think they played Miami last time. So I think Miami, pretty normal for them to play in Miami. Honestly, I'm a fan of their ballpark, their indoor stadium. I think it looks badass. Never anybody in there, but it looks sick. I mean, Anyway, so aside from the stadium sites, which is exciting for me, I was so pumped to hear that because I'm like, I can finally go watch a World Baseball Classic game. It's only down the road. We're doing this. But anyway, so Paul Skeens has his third MLB start yesterday. And though it wasn't no hit, it was still against the Giants, which I still don't think is a true test to his talents. Honestly, the Giants are okay. This first two starts, both against the Cubs, one at home, one away. Then he draws the Giants. I'm just I want to see Paul Skeens pitch against I want to see him throw against the Yankees. I want to see him throw against fucking the Braves. I want to see him throw against somebody who would have talent. He is a freak, right? Paul Skeens is a great pitcher. He's a freak. He's an ace as is. But I just don't think he's still been put to any sort of real test. Honestly, I don't think he has. So yesterday, 6 innings pitched again. 6 innings seems to be his cap. 6 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, and 3 strikeouts. So definitely not as many strikeouts. I know the last time he pitched against the Cubs, he had 7 straight strikeouts to start the game. So not on par. Obviously, and I looked at some of the film, I looked at some of the highlights. He wasn't as sharp as he was his last start against the Cubs. But here, and this is what people don't like, and I get that people are upset, oh, he's just another pitcher. He's like anybody else. Honestly, yeah, he is. But I mean, for the most part, he has a lot of freak stuff that a lot of big league aces of big league arms don't have. And he's very he's very close. He reminds me of Strasburg from a rookie standpoint, but he reminds me of DeGrom and how dominant that he can truly be when they're healthy, right? So it's I'm watching Paul Skeens come out and do this. He wasn't even Paul. I feel like he was off yesterday. That's not even really Paul Skeens. He grinded through that start. Still 6 innings, 6 hits, only got 3 strikeouts, but only walked 1 guy and gave up 1 run. That's that's ace material. That's what you expect out of a starter to go 6 strong. Only 1 run. It's a very winnable ball game. So it's how much more can you can't, if you're hating on Paul Skeens or you don't think he's that good, the stats don't lie. Had 1 shaky start in his first outing ever. Comes out, throws no. Had he finished the game, had he not hit 100 pitches, he probably would have thrown a no fucking hitter. And then this one, I don't know how you can sit here and go against Paul Skeens, man. Paul Skeens is as real as it is. Now, what I will say is I was listening I was listening to a podcast the other day, and they were talking about Paul Skeens and talking about if he makes the Pirates a playoff team or a better team. Now, when you pair him with the Mitch Keller, when you pair him with the Jared Jones, another all-star rookie, obviously, them 3 together are powerhouse pitching staff. You get 2 more guys. They still have 2 more other guys. I don't even know who they are because these guys overshadow everything about that pitching staff. But their bullpen needs serious help, which is why I don't know. Because like I said, Paul Skeens throws a hell of a game, hell of an outing. He leaves the game. Then the bullpen blows the game. That's the second time they've done that, where Paul Skeens comes in, throws a decent game. The game is well within reach if they're not in the lead, and then the bullpen just shits down their leg and blows the whole game. So one thing I will say is, yes, Paul Skeens is a great addition. Paul Skeens is a great pitcher, but he doesn't really change the trajectory of the Pirates much because the bullpen's still not very good. The bullpen's not very. The bullpen's bad. Let's just be honest. The Pirates bullpen, all their weight is in that starting rotation because the bullpen has not been good at all year. And the offense is decent. Like they can win you some games, but when it starts piling up 7-6 runs in the last couple innings, it's really hard. It's really hard to come back from that. And that's what I've said a lot of times. I've said it about the Astros. The same thing. A really hot lineup, but when your pitching is just not on par, and you're giving up, 4, 5, 6 runs in the later innings of a game, there's only so much that you can do. Like, yes, these are big league hitters. Yes, they could probably come in clutch with some spots, but they're not going to happen. It's not going to happen every night. So that's one thing I will say is though Paul Skeens is tearing it up. Oh, my coloring is so weird. Whoa. Anyway, so even if Paul Skeens is tearing it up, it doesn't change the fact that the rest of the team is not up to par with their starting pitching. It's going to be one of those things. It's going to be a journey. It may not happen this year, but like next year, the year after, when they've got these guys, maybe they can put some other pieces together. They can put some more bullpen pieces together. They can get some more offensive studs. Then the Pirates will be something to be, scared of. But for right now, take it for what it is. Paul Skeens tearing it up, but not enough to change the trajectory of the Pirates, in my opinion. So my thoughts there. Now, next week, we've only got a couple today. It's Friday. I'm trying to cut out early. I got some things I got to do. So we're going to talk about some stuff, get some short form content. So short one today. Sorry, in case I'm going kind of fast. We're on a short roll today. Oh, yeah. So Juan Soto. So I made a short video yesterday. I don't know if you follow us on socials, you probably saw it. It was a little bit later yesterday in the evening. So I saw a post John Boy posted, and obviously it's been everywhere. It's not just on John Boy. It's just where I originally saw it, so it clicks in my head. But Hal Steinbrenner talking about how they cannot handle these costs financially. They can't sustain with these costs, right? Meaning they're going to have to cut some costs. Now, where this bothers me and where I've had issues with this is, number one, when you have a fan. Okay, but let me start from the top here. So number one, Juan Soto obviously is only in New York for 1 year. We've said this 100 times. If you don't know baseball, you should know this. Juan Soto is in New York for a 1 year only deal. He's there for 1 year. With that being said, there's been talks that the Yankees want to extend him. They want him for a long time. With who Juan Soto's agent is, which is Scott Boras, I find it very hard to believe that we're going to sign Juan Soto to anything mid-year because they know and he knows. And obviously Scott Boras, being fucking Scott Boras, they're going to test the free agent market because they're going to think, I can get $500 million plus for this kid. Why am I going to do something internally in-house for the Yankees when we can start an all-out fucking bidding war in the offseason and probably get more money? So I don't see them signing anything mid-year. I don't care who Juan Soto is, who his agent is. I don't think anything gets done mid-year. And I think the population can pretty much agree with that, which makes it scary for Yankee fans. But here's where it gets worse, in my opinion, where I think, because no one's really clarified my thoughts on this. People are kind of commenting off and on, right, on other stuff. But so here's the deal. If you're telling us right now you haven't signed Juan Soto, I mean, you haven't even put an offer, maybe they have, I don't know. You haven't even signed anybody new, and you're already saying that you cannot sustain these costs for the long run. Meaning after 2024, what you're telling me is that you're going to cut costs. And you're going to start. Now that means, number one, you're either pretty much telling your fan base that, we're having issues financially. Not where like it's a problem, right? But it's like, hey, we can't pay these guys for a long run because we're not going to make any fucking money. We're going to lose a lot more money than we think we are, is what they're saying basically. That this team you got on the field here, like I feel like they're saying don't get comfortable with it because we're not going to keep all these guys because we can't afford it. That's what it seems like. That's what it sounds like. Now, when you say something like that, it's like, okay, well, when we're thinking about getting Juan Soto for next year, does that mean that's not going to happen? Or are we going to get Juan Soto in the sacrifice of other pieces of this team? Because I really, really like this fucking team the Yankees have right now. I really do. I mean, it is Best it's been in a really since probably 2009. Let's just call it for what it is. It's the best team we've had in New York since 2009, since that World Series team. I believe that. Now, and this is what I said. I said it either yesterday or the day before. Don't give us a free trial of Juan Soto to just let him walk. Like, that's going to upset me more than anybody. It's going to upset a lot of fucking fans. If you're telling us this now in May of 2024 that we can't sustain this payroll, meaning you're not going to go after Juan Soto, meaning you may have to even cut more pieces, or if you're going to cut the whole fucking team to get Juan Soto, it makes no fucking sense. So I don't know what's going to happen. I'm a little worried about it. I'm just going to be honest. I'm really worried about it because I don't know what's going to happen. And I want Juan Soto in fucking pinstripes. God damn it. God damn it. I do. But I get it. Now, the other half of this thing is like, okay, people are upset. Why would you say this at all? Like, you should have just kept us waiting. So I've seen it from both sides. Other guys were like, I'd really appreciate him being transparent, being honest, like not just throwing us for a loop. And then, later down the line, we're just like, hey, we can't afford Juan Soto. Sorry. So people are like, why would you say this? Like, just keep me in the dark, keep me wondering, like, keep me playing hopeful. Like, don't say this. And the other people are like, okay, well, thanks for being transparent. I understand. I don't know where I stand technically because I'm like, I appreciate the transparency, but at the same time, I'm upset. I think that's where the general population is because, God dang it. But I get it. It's a tough spot to be in as a Yankees fan. A tough, tough spot. But I am worried. I am worried. Okay, so let's say they're going to make. I really and from the bottom of my heart, no matter what, I really don't believe that they're not going to put an offer on Juan Soto. I think they're going to start cutting costs at other places to make those funds available. That's what I do believe. But I need to know what those pieces you're getting rid of first are before we make any decision. So we will see. But just so everyone knows, Hal Steinbrenner did say that yesterday or a couple days ago that what we got right now, what we're rolling out right now, we can't keep for a long time. Just letting everybody know that costs are high right now, which for everybody, brother, welcome to the club. All right, we got a couple more topics to talk about. What else we got here? So we talked about Juan Soto. We talked about schemes. We talked about World Baseball Classic sites. Now, the one that I kind of made a small video about it the other day with Shohei having his weekend of absolute joy, I guess is the best way to say it, from his own day, the bobblehead night, to his first walk-off this past weekend. He had a great weekend. Now the question is being asked, and I've heard it a lot more ever since I kind of brought it up. I don't know if I was the front runner of this conversation, but I've been talking about it for a minute, is whether or not they're going to actually let Ohtani pitch again. And that's been a big talk on MLB Network. I've seen it on Bleacher Report. I've seen it on MLB. I've seen it on ESPN. People are talking about this because it is a big deal. Now, obviously, everyone in the fucking world has heard of Shohei Ohtani at this point. He is the biggest baseball player to ever play the game. On top of the betting scandal, on top of everything, people think they're clearing his name, yada, yada, yada. So he has been a big name. If you haven't heard of Shohei Ohtani now, you must be living under a rock. Even if you don't like baseball, you've had to have heard of Shohei Ohtani, right? Because it was one of the biggest gambling scandals, or at least stories, since Pete Rose back in the day. So Shohei Ohtani is a big fucking name. Now, if you didn't know, Shohei Ohtani comes over and he wants to be a two-way guy. Angels let him be a two-way guy, but then he injures his arm. Then he goes to LA where they're like, hey, you're not pitching this year. You had that surgery, minor arm surgery. You're not pitching this year. You're only going to hit. Now he is absolutely tearing up the league. He's hitting absolutely insane. Over 1,000 OPS. Like, he's just tearing it up, right? So now people are like, okay, dude, you're hurt from throwing, because obviously Shohei throws gas. He throws 98 to 100 miles an hour, 101 miles an hour. So he throws really fucking hard. But that has led to injury. And we've been seeing this all over the fucking league. Injury after injury after pitching injury. Tommy John, shoulder issue, Tommy John, forearm tightness, over. There has been so many pitchers. It's like a revolving door of pitchers coming in and out of the aisle with forearm strain or UCL issues or shoulder issues, right? So over and over, we're seeing all these arm problems. If you're the Dodgers, right, you signed Shohei to this massive long-term deal. He's going to be a Dodger for the rest of his career for the most part. Do you let him pitch again? And I know that this is what he came over for. So I don't know what the internal conversations were, because he was already hurt when he signed to LA, if I'm not mistaken. They already knew that he was having some issues with the arm. I don't think they got him for the arm. I think they got him for the bat, because either way you split it, he's a great player both sides. But they clearly wanted him for his offensive production, because that's what they've all but shown and cared about for the most part. Obviously, he hasn't pitched in over a year, so it's been some time. But if you're the Dodgers, if I'm the Dodgers, are you letting him hop on the mound again? As the Dodgers, like I said, I don't know what the internal conversations were. I don't know what was said behind closed doors on that massive contract. Because obviously the man wants to pitch. I mean, that's obvious. But do you let him? I don't know, man. If it's me, if you're asking me and you're like, hey, does Ohtani pitch anymore? I'm thinking, okay, if I'm looking at how well he's performing now, if I'm looking at how well he's swinging the bat, do I think 700 million for a DH is outrageous? Absolutely. So I think that they're going to anyway, for the sake of them getting their return back on their money. I believe that. But at the same time, do you let him pitch again, knowing that it could start hurting into it could start creating some issues for him at the plate, obviously with injury, yada yada, whatever, right? Me personally, if I'm the manager, if I'm the GM of the Dodgers, I don't see a need. I can go get more pitching. I can't go get another Shohei Ohtani, but I can go get guys that can throw hard. I can recruit guys. We've recruited Yamamoto. We got Glasnow. We got Kershaw coming back soon. We just got Walker Buehler, who's kind of settling back into his groove. So, yeah, we have arms, dude. We got plenty of arms. We got a decent bullpen. You got Treenan back there. You got Vesky. They got a lot of guys. Do you risk him being hurt entirely because he's pitching and hitting? I don't think so. It ain't worth it. Let's just let him hit. Let him keep hitting, keep working on his hitting, and let him be an absolute legend at the plate, and we'll let these guys do their job. I think that that's the route I would take. But obviously, everyone's got a different opinion. I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to eventually let him pitch again. You got to because I think that's when it comes down to the money again. You got to get your 700 million out of this guy. You got to get it. So they might have to end up letting him pitch and hit. I don't know. But for me, and I'm looking at the well-being and the longevity of his career, I want him to just hit. Because I got plenty of guys that can pitch. Could he help here and there? Sure, but I want him to just be a hitter. But there's more and more two-way guys coming up. I was watching freaking college baseball yesterday. You got Benji from Oklahoma State, who throws an absolute gem the night before, then plays right field and can hit. You got Caglione in Florida. So there's this new wave of two-way guys rolling around that I think Ohtani is as obviously as influential to baseball as he was. He is starting a whole new wave of new players doing stuff like this. And yeah, it's awesome for the game because it's like a youthful piece. Like obviously as you get more in college and you get to or even in high school, some guys in high school and college, you don't see, if you're a pitcher, you ain't hitting. I mean, that's just given. You're not hitting. If you're a pitcher, you're not a position player. You're one or the other. But now there's this whole group of guys who are like, hey, dude, I can play both elite. Let me do both elite. I can throw 97 and I can hit bombs 100, 500 feet. So there's a new wave. He's changing the way the game is played. Now you're seeing more and more two-way guys, more and more guys embracing that lifestyle rather than saying, I'm one or the other. I can't be both. I don't want to be both. I want to be one or the other. There's a lot more guys now out in the open playing at big levels. I mean, these are D1, Big 12, and SEC guys that are two-way guys that are playing two ways in college. So he's shaping the game. He's changing it up more than we would like to think, I think, at times. But all in all, if I was Shohei's manager, if I was his fucking agent, you're not pitching again, bro. You're hitting only, and we're riding all 700 million of this shit out as a DH, and we're gonna do some legendary. But yeah, if I was Ohtani's manager, agent, whatever, nah, you're done. Rest that elbow, drop tanks. Okay, so the last one, and this is what I've been worried about, and we have to talk about this because yesterday there was another fucking egregious call, and I'm going to talk about it on socials here in a little bit, between the White Sox and an interference call. Another blown call, completely botched the whole fucking thing. Umpires. But on the bright side, and though I hate Manfred, guy's an idiot. He did say yesterday that there's still ways away from robot umpire automated strikes. So positive note that for sure we won't have it in 2025, 2026, and later is still up in question. But for sure in 2025, we're not going to have robot umps. So we're okay for the time being. But at the same time, there still needs to be a change. I'm not going to go on about this again. I'm talking about the umpires. I'm not going to go on about it. But there needs to be a change. Though positive note that we're still ways away from an automated strike zone. So that's good. But the umpires, God damn it, need to change it up. I also saw a thing that they're doing some research on the pitch clock and arm injuries. That Manfred had to make this whole statement about how that's not it. It's preseason injuries and spring training injuries that are the most prevalent. No, I'm not going to get into this debate. Obviously, this just came up on the bottom of the article here as I was reading about the robot umpires. It's not the pitch clock. I've been saying this. It's not the pitch clock. The pitch clock is not for you to not be able, to come back and throw after 20 to 25 seconds, 17 seconds. If you can't pitch every 17 seconds, there's guys that do that by themselves. If you can't do that, then you need to be in better cardiovascular shape. You need to be in better shape for the season. Because if you can't throw a pitch every 17 seconds at least 75 to 90% effort, come on, dude. You're a professional athlete. So, no, it's not the pitch clock. I think it's a lot more issues. I think it's the obsession with throwing hard. But like I said, we'll talk about this another day. I've given my thoughts on what I think the issue is with arm injuries this year. I don't think that the pitch clock has anything to do with it. And I think that I have to agree with this independent study that Major League Baseball did. I mean, there's a lot more than just obviously things happen in the preseason and things happen in spring training. But, I mean, obviously that can go either way. So, anyway, guys, thanks for listening. Thanks for checking us out today. It's Friday. Have a great Friday. Have a great weekend. It's Memorial Day weekend, so we probably will not have an episode on Monday. I haven't decided yet, but just be on the lookout for it. We're definitely going to have stuff on social, so be sure to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. Follow, subscribe on YouTube. Like I said, we have everything that's on socials we're going to have on YouTube as well. We will have another breakdown next week. I've already found what we're going to talk about, so I'm super pumped there. But anyway, guys, thanks for listening. We will catch you guys next week.